22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
And are not afraid to say it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are tuned into Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show, episode 354. Yes, I said 354. Just got finished celebrating our 8-year anniversary. We have a good show today. The second half of the show, we're going to do something we've never really done before on this level. I shared the link for people to come on all over social media with a lot of our listeners, and we will have what I'm calling a community engagement portion of the show from the second half of the show. So everybody, the link is on my page. The link is on, I've sent it in messenger groups. I've sent it everywhere. But you can find it on my page after 7 o'clock. If you want to come on and briefly talk about anything you want to talk about, you want us to talk about, comments, questions, tell us what's going on in your city or town. I want to hear from all of you who listen to the show today. So this is something new. If it's a success and a lot of y'all come through, we'll do this more often, maybe once a month. But this is something we're just trying out. So let's see how that goes. On the first half of the show, we will have the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus, and they will be talking about their 46th annual gala coming up soon. Subomi Macauley, the president, I think they'll be coming in around 6:15, and she invited like 3 or 4 people, and we will be having that discussion about their organization, about their gala, some of the things they're up to, and all of that. And again, the second half of the show will be on new community engagement. Like I said, we're trying something new. Everything don't work. We'll see if this works. A lot of times people want to come on and just say something, or they want me to speak on something, or they'll leave something in the comment section. I'm giving everybody a chance to come on the screen and speak about whatever they want to talk about, whatever's affected the community, whatever issues they want to address, what's going on in their city or town. We want to hear from everybody. So let's see how this goes. Wish me well. If it goes well, we will be doing this more often. A couple of people already tuned in. Latanya Baptiste Young, D. Wilson, Donna Jackson, H.B. Davis. Those are the names that I see real quick. There are others. Leave us your comments in the comment section as always. And I will put it on the screen like this. so you can see your comment or question, but we're giving you the opportunity to come on the show today and speak about whatever you want to talk about. A couple of things going on. I do not have an update on the mural in Greenberg. I know that is one of the most asked questions that I've received in the last 5 or 6 days. What is the latest update? As far as I know, the last two things that have happened, the interim town attorney, um, I forget the first name, last name is Danko or Danka, Danko or something like that. He sent a letter to the artists telling them they had to remove 20 plus images by Monday, the 26th that just passed, or they were going to be in breach of agreement. And there were other things that they claims that they were in breach of agreement. The artist Kendo Art had his own attorney send a letter back saying that they will not be removing the images and and spoke on their freedom of expression and censorship and other things. So they sent a letter back to the town. And as of right now, I believe it's a standoff. I don't know what the town's next move will be. This may end up spilling out into the court, and maybe a court decision. But that is where that is at. Shout out to the Mount Vernon Shamrocks. They made it. The women's WABA team in Mount Vernon, they made it to the championship game yesterday. But the Atlanta team was a little too strong. They were not messing around. Mount Vernon was in it for a minute, but they had the shots. They missed a couple of good shots, and Atlanta out rebound our girls something like 46-16 or something crazy like that, which hurt a lot because a lot of second chance points, a lot of second chance opportunities, and not giving Mount Vernon second chance opportunities. So, but they had a great season. They made it to the championship game, and I still want to applaud them. They have nothing to hang their heads down for. Of course, you want to win the championship, but they had an incredible season. And when the season starts back up next season, I encourage everybody to come through and support them and go to the games. We will have the girls come on before the season starts, talking about the season. And I think three of the players on that team, I believe, made it to the All-Star game, the WABA All-Star game, which I believe is today, I don't know how that went. I didn't keep score. I wasn't paying attention, but shout out to our Shamrocks. I want to give them a shout out. Definitely a shout out. I know a lot of y'all seen online. We last week we made what's his name? Savion Vassell, our player of the week. The Mount Vernon Knights having a great season. I think they won again this week, but he had scored the first touchdown in the first game played in Memorial Field. Yes, Memorial Field has had a soft opening now. So shout out to Latina Brown that's tuned in. There's a soft opening, and he scored the first touchdown. And why that was why we really wanted to. He scored 2 touchdowns and even had a sack on defense. Had a great game. The team won, and that's where the Memorial Field is where the Razorbacks, the youth league, usually plays. But the park had been closed since 2007 when Savion was 1, so he never got the opportunity to play as a boy at the Razorback like a lot of Razorbacks before him. So this was actually his first game in Memorial Field, and he came out swinging, scored the first touchdown. We made him our player of the week. What else is going on? I think we have a little less than 6 weeks before the election. Important election, your state seats, the assembly, your state assembly, your state senate, The congressional seats, the Republicans are coming hard, trying to knock the Democrats off in any seats they can. So it is important that you go out and vote. Vote. You hear everybody say it all the time. Vote like your life depends on it. This is the most important election. Well, this election, democracy is on the line. If you have been paying attention to what's going on the national level, the Republicans are trying to just dismantle democracy and take away all rights, and I say all rights, everybody's rights. And there's a saying: you get the government you deserve because you get the government you vote for. This is a time I say everybody needs to come out and vote. I think the last day to register, I have it on the website, is something like the 14th. So if you're not registered, I believe you have to October 14th to register by mail, register online, or register in person. I think October 14th is the last day to register. So if you are not registered, please register. If you are of age, if you have somebody in your family who is not registered, encourage them to register. And, everybody get up, get out and vote. And it's not only good enough that you vote, check on your seniors, other people in your family, in your neighborhood, on your block, see if they need a ride to the polls. We need to come out strong because one thing that has shown when Democrats come out in numbers, Democrats win. So the Republicans are doing everything to make it harder and harder to vote for that reason. All my Georgia people, my Georgia family, y'all really need to come out and vote because we cannot let this Herschel Walker dude into the Senate. We cannot let him in the Senate. Let me just tell you, for all my people in Georgia, and I lived out there for like 12 years. For all my people in Georgia, and a lot of y'all listen to the show, and if y'all listen to it live, y'all listen to it on the website later. Y'all need to come out even bigger, harder, better than ever. They are trying to take away how you vote. They're trying to purge people from the voting polls. Yes, my brother Dr. Bob backed me up. Thank you, Bob. The 14th is your last day to register to vote. Yes. And that is a website for you to register if you want to register online. So please do so. But back to my people in Georgia, y'all need to come out and support Warnock. Yeah, he might not be the best person in the world, but the alternative is way, way worse, way, way worse. And y'all need to come out and support Stacey Abrams this year because governor is another important position that they are trying to get as many Republican governors throughout the country and to help overturn some of these election results if Trump happens to run and loses again. So enough of that. You hear that on the national TV, but I figure I had to get that out there. Shout out to Marvin Church. Brother Marvin, how you doing? Let's see what else we got. Still waiting for Subomi and the rest of the crew to come on. They have a few more minutes. Let me say one more time for all those who are just tuned in. Today we are doing something different. We are trying something out. The second hour is dedicated to community engagement. I publicly shared the link to the show all over social media, and it is on my page. You can click on it at between 7 and 8. Click on it, come on the screen, and speak about whatever issues you want to address, whatever you want to speak on. Talk about what's going on in your municipality, your city, or town. Talk about whatever you need to talk, whatever you feel we need to address. If you have questions or comments, even if they're just questions or comments, we want to hear from all our listeners today. Again, this is something totally new. We've done this on a smaller scale to fill time, but we're trying to do this. If this works, if this is successful, we will do it. Actually, since we're waiting for our guests, I actually do have somebody who we're going to get one of our people in. If you put your camera on, I'll get you on while we're waiting for our guests right now if you want to. Just got to put your camera on. So we're going to be doing community engagement. We're kicking it off with my brother, Jeff Monroe. How are you doing, my brother? You got to unmute yourself. Hello, hello, hello. I cannot hear you. We cannot hear you. What would you like to talk about? Your mic is muted right now. Might be an audio problem on your end. Unmute your mic. Your mic is muted. Okay. Say something. Hello, hello. Oh, there you go. There you go. What would you like to? What would you like to discuss or speak on or address today?
I actually didn't expect to be on broadcast and was expecting to hear back from whether I was going to be expected to be on.
Well, we're doing this between 6. We're doing it between 7 and 8, but we're still waiting for my guests. So if you want to speak on anything, we'll let you kick it off. You're my first one. We kick it off on anything that you feel we need to hear about. Any questions, comments for Black Westchester, anything.
I was actually intrigued by a video that I saw that was actually covered by a network of young folks I follow online called the Revolutionary Blackout Network. And one of them, a young lady by the name of Sabrina Salvati, I think it is, or her online name is Sabby Sabs, and she has a show on YouTube, and she's part of this revolutionary broadcast, Revolutionary Blackout Network, and they're basically a crew of young folks that are progressives, and they make commentary on current affairs, national, international, electoral, and otherwise. And a pretty sharp group of young people, mostly Black folk. I don't know that. I mean, they offer different commentary specific to the Black agenda, if you will. Not that they necessarily have a platform that says what a Black agenda is. But this young lady did she covered the appearance of Congressman Jeffries and Bowman. That
I did see that video. You shared it. Yes,
and that event was apparently it actually, I was unaware of the event, although it conflicted with a couple other things I had to do on Tuesday anyway. But I found that the event was surprisingly poorly promoted. I don't know how well attended it was. It sounded like there was a decent amount of people in there.
I would say there was about 100 or just over 100 people there.
Yeah, I would think both those individuals could draw better than that. But
and I think most people found out about it the day of. I found out about it the day before. Myself, Black Westchester, we found out the day before, and it's around the corner from my house. So at my church, so I found out about it the day before.
Yeah, I find that problematic, considering how how high profile these particular congressmen are, and how important the Democratic Party should be. At least Democratic electoral population should be to this city committee in Mount Vernon, such that they should organize it. But anyway, they organized this fireside chat, if you will, between the two of them, with no question period, which I always find that, problematic if you're going to come to the community without a chance to actually engage with them off the cuff. But I get it. It's mostly a PR show for the party. And typical of the age we're in, of this particular kind of presentation, found a protest, and there was a person in the audience who I'm glad had the courage. I think his name was Jose Vega. I'm not familiar with him. I'm actually looking to reach out to him online, but he seems to have a Twitter presence, and I'm not really active on Twitter, so I'm gonna have to find a way to reach him otherwise. But the story in the fact that he presented a fairly reasonable criticism of Congressman Bowman, in that the congressman is part of a federal legislative counterweight to the basic imperial colonial interests of the United States. And I say what is supposed to be a counterweight, because Congressman Bowman presents himself as a progressive, and even as a socialist, or at least that's what he said in past interviews. I don't know if that's still the case. But anyway, he went through this interview with Congressman Jeffries, who himself is problematic as a congressman, because he's got a lot of big pharma and defense contractor donation that makes him fairly beholden to those interests that show up in his legislative record as well. But anyway, Congressman Bowman was the target of this particular criticism that this heckler that Jose Vega made, in that Congressman Bowman and Jeffries and various other Congressional Black Caucus legislators at the federal level support American imperialist actions abroad, specifically this particular debacle in Ukraine, where up to $70 billion is going to this country that is one of, if not the most corrupt country in Europe, and of course the weapons that are for all intents and purposes representing American interests against Russia. And this particular action for a progressive, in that he's voting for these particular support mechanisms, considering that, and this is something Jose Vega brought up, most of the Ukraine government's political interests are tied into several right-wing interests in Ukraine, including Nazis, organizations called the Azov Battalion, the Right Sector. There are actual Nazis doing military work for the Ukraine government against their own people at that. And the US government is supporting this. But the only response Congressman Bowman had at the time was that freedom of speech was what made that particular moment profound to him. And my understanding is that he responded to Jose Vega with a pretty weak defense that Jose Vega is not his constituent, which is ridiculous. I mean,
well, I will. Okay, I'm going to get into my guest real quick, but I wanted to address. He was, so from what I did, the person did speak and was asked not to interrupt. There was supposed to be a Q&A part, and I guess they talked more than they were supposed to, and it didn't happen. I was surprised by that. I was there, but I did speak to the congressman afterwards, and I asked him. He said he would talk to the guy after it was over, and I asked did he speak with him, and he said he did. So I mean that's all I know. I don't know what the conversation they had was. The guy sat there waiting for him at the end, and he did go up to him and speak to him, and that's as far as I know. But the video, send me tag me in the video. I'll share the video so everybody can see it. And I did see that you shared it though.
Yeah, I shared it on your. I shared 2 videos actually on what you posted, but we can get into it later. Thanks for giving me.
Well, thank you very much. And if you want to come back after 7:15ish, that's when we're gonna have everybody come back on. My first guests are here now. Again, the second half of the show, we will be having community engagement where we will have everybody come on. Subomi, I see Subomi Macauley is here, the president of the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus. Once she turns her camera on, I will put her on the screen. Let's see. Just waiting for her to turn her camera on. Okay, well, she is not on. She was there. I think Lisa Marie Nero. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Representing the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus.
Yes.
And Subomi is back.
Yes.
Here she goes right now. Hello, ladies.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I know that you were you invited both of y'all to come on because y'all have an upcoming gala, your 46th anniversary gala coming up. Tell us about that. Well, first off, for those who don't know, because sometimes we get new viewers, what is the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus? Explain that real briefly if you can.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Subomi Macauley. I'm the countywide president for the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus. We have 5 chapters: Yonkers, Mount Vernon, New Rochelle, the Greater Peekskill, and Greenburgh, White Plains. The mission of the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus is to uplift Black women into becoming elected officials. Since 1976, we have been doing just that. We can count on elected officials such as Commissioner Tejon Nelson, Majority Leader Andrew Stewart Cousins, Westchester County Legislator Joe Williams, Westchester County Legislator Terry Clemens, Yonkers City Council President Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, Yonkers City Council Majority Leader Tasha Diaz, Yonkers City Councilwoman Corazon Pineda Isaacs, and Yonkers City Councilwoman Shanae Williams, in addition to Yadida Herbert Ramos of New Rochelle, Mayor Sean Patterson Howard of Mount Vernon, Mayor Vivian McKenzie of Peekskill, and a host of other members. As of today, we have 22 members who are elected officials here in Westchester County. So we are celebrating our 46th anniversary on Thursday, October 20th at the Green Tree Country Club in New Rochelle. Please come out and join us. It starts at 6 p.m. It is black tie. And Lisa, is it true that I heard that we're almost sold out? Is that true, Lisa?
Indeed. We are almost sold out. We have a capacity of 500, but however, it seems that we're already getting close to what we topped last year. We had only planned for almost 300, and we ended up with 463 guests last year. So again, we're slowly approaching our maximum. We want to be COVID compliant, but we are just as excited to just be able to celebrate these beautiful, powerful Black women that we have in our organization, and that we are here as a voice in Westchester in politics, and we're definitely making sure that the Black woman has a voice.
Now, for those that don't know, I like to break down everything. What is the parliamentarian? What is that, and what do you do? Why do organizations need a parliamentarian?
Because unfortunately, like many people, they don't read contracts. I know bylaws back, forth, upside down, and also I'm very, very familiar with Robert's Rules of Order. And when it comes to disputes, we always refer to the bylaws, and that's my job as the parliamentarian.
Okay, that's what's up. And hopefully a few people learned a few things. I actually learned about a parliamentarian a couple of years ago when some organization was doing something and it was getting messy, and someone said, "Yo, y'all need a parliamentarian." I think Dr. Bob actually on our show said, "Yo, they need a parliamentarian." I was like, "Yo, what's that?" He was explaining. He said, "They need one in the worst way, really, really bad." So I'm glad that y'all have one, not like that other group. and that's what he's watching too. He said, "Yes, the bylaws, yes."
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Now I do. In addition, I wanted to give Subomi a brief opportunity. Everyone's always asking me what's going on with the mural in Greenberg, and I don't want to make the show about that. But the only reason I bring it up, though, the only organization that released a statement in support of the mural was the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus. Other people have told me things privately, but y'all are the only one that released a public statement. Why did you feel the need to lead that statement, and talk about that a little bit?
So I'm happy to embrace issues that affect our community. And the mural in Greenberg is something that is very important to our community. No one can tell us who our leaders should be, just as we wouldn't walk into someone's house and tell them who their leaders should be. And so that is part of being empowered. That is part of knowing your history. We all have leaders. We've all had leaders. Other groups have had leaders that offend some people. But these are our leaders. And sometimes we focus on what people said 30 years ago. But guess what? That's not what they're saying today. So no one absolutely has the right to tell us who our leaders are. And I stand with the mural in Greenberg because that is Black history. Black history is American history.
Absolutely. And the only reason I brought that up, main reason I brought that up, Damon and I and Bob, Dr. Bob, we criticize a lot of organizations. There's a lot of things that go on with Black and brown people in Westchester County, and I do not see a lot of our Black elected officials or our Black organizations speaking up, or Black community leaders and advocates, and where are they? We speak up on with some issues, but there are so many issues that I guess people are scared to touch, or they're scared to offend. I don't want to speak for anybody. I know some people are getting funding from the county or whatever, so they definitely don't want to speak up and lose their funding. I know some of that is that. Some people are worried about their jobs, in retaliation, and there's a lot of that. But being the only organization, the only Black organization that I saw, and you sent it to me and I published it, that sent out a statement. I think that was great. And, I think we need more of that in our community. We need more of our leaders to speak up in our community. And there's a lot of other issues I wish they speak up on, like the senseless gun violence going on in our communities and so many other things. We speak about Black people getting killed by the police, but we're killing ourselves at an even greater level, and where are the leaders speaking about that? So, that's before I go down that rabbit hole, because that'll take me, and that'll be the whole show right there if I allow it. So, but I definitely want to applaud you for speaking up. So, the organization has been around 46 years, huh?
Yeah, and our keynote speaker at our 46th Anniversary Gala is Congressman Jamal Bowman. And our mistress of ceremonies is our second vice president, who's in charge of fundraising, Crystal Collins. And I'm sure you know both of these people. So it will be a beautiful gala. We have Lisa. We have right. We have a musician. We have a DJ. We have a cocktail hour, and we have a sit-down dinner, and of course, dancing, dancing, dancing.
Of course, we just want to make this an enjoyable event and an enjoyable evening. Post COVID, everyone's trying to be so careful. So again, we just want to make sure everyone knows we're following protocols, and we're being careful. So be rest assured.
One more thing on the parliamentarian thing and the bylaws thing.
Yes.
One of the things Dr. Bob, and he's not on with me today, but he's tuned in. He always says a lot of our movements and a lot of our organizations fail because of a lack of organization. Not having bylaws, not following the bylaws, just the right hand not knowing what the left hand's doing. No organization, period. So I definitely wanted to speak on that again, like the importance of that. Having someone to represent the bylaws and intervene in that area.
Absolutely. I'm actually in the process of joining the National Parliamentarian Organization, and it's just when you're the parliamentarian, it is so careful. You have to be so careful to really know the bylaws and know that when there's ever anything called into question, that's when I'm called on. So if there's any ever question like should anything out of order, and again, people don't realize that Robert's Rules of Order are only to be used when there is not a bylaw to apply, and
Okay.
that's so important that people don't realize that. Like, oh, go to Robert's Rules only when the bylaws are not there to be applied.
I'm not even going to tell you how many meetings I've attended and organizations that were supposed to be up and coming and they're not here no more, that had no bylaws and probably didn't even know Robert rules. They didn't even know who Robert was. So it's just it was just dysfunctional, and I think that's very important. But back to the caucus. For women, especially our young sisters who see y'all, a group of powerful Black women. If they wanted to know more about the caucus, if they wanted to join the caucus, what's the website? What's the process of that?
Sure. The website, of course, is the WBWPC.com.
Okay.
.org.
Oh, .org. I'm sorry, I forgot .org. My fault. And when you you'll be able to type in your name, or of course you can always call our countywide president, which is of course President Macauley. You can call myself, the parliamentarian. You can call any of our executive board members, and that information is on the website for them to make any phone calls or emails or any way to reach out to us. The best way would be to come to our event, then and then we can definitely share our information with you. And again, our involvement is with different communities. So when we have this event, this is just this is the big event, but we have our individual chapters, we have events, and we definitely do community outreach, and we want to speak to, of course, the young people, because as they say with a church, if you have a church without the youth, it's a dead church.
Yes.
So we know that it's the young people, leaders. We have to lead by example. And if we are not bringing up the young folks and we're not teaching them, it's just that when you talk about young people and you're like, oh, they're this, well, guess what? They're the ones that we need to teach to lead the charge. So that's our job as leaders. We're supposed to teach.
Let me add. Our membership chair is Angela Farish, and
Yes.
please send her an email at WBWPC, which stands for Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus, WBWPC Westchester at gmail.com. And we respond to your emails, or go on our website, WBWPC.org. I'm going to step out of the room, but the parliamentarian, who's also the Greenberg chapter director, will continue, and she's an excellent person on this topic. All right?
Absolutely. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Yes. I think it's very important what you said about our youth, because we're I see too many times we say our youth are out of control. I say this, and I share this everywhere. I share this often, so it's not my first time saying it. The reason I'm not dead in jail like a lot of my students I went to, fellow students I went to school with, to high school with, is because there were so many adults who got at me, who saw something in me, who, kind of harassed me a little bit, but they pushed me. You know what I'm saying? Even though I claimed I wasn't trying to hear them right now, but I heard everything that they said, and I say, we say that the youth is out of control. It's not the youth failing us; it's us failing the youth. You know what I'm saying? So and Damon always says, he's not here today, my partner. He always says, we can't expect these young people to stop gangbanging when the adults are adult gangbanging. They say we got black Democrats trying to politically decapitate other black Democrats, and you see the fighting and the nastiness. And yes, they're doing it with guns and they're doing it in the streets, but where do you think they get that from? Where do you think? I mean, you understand what I'm saying? Like you said, leadership. Like they see our leaders being dysfunctional and fighting. Where do you think they get some of that from?
Oh, so you must not know that I'm a district leader in Greenberg.
Shout out to Eric Marable. He just tuned in. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, Eric. Oh, my gosh. All of my school friends. I am a 50-year resident of Greenberg, so I know everybody. Okay. Went to school with Damon. So. Okay. But yes.
So the old Damon. The old Damon that the Black Westchester people don't know. The old Damon.
Yes, I know Faz G. Yes, I do.
Faz, yeah.
and it's interesting when you talk about youth and growing up. And again, you can't compare it to us, where when you ran out of center jobs, there was Hopeton White with the Crossroads program. Nobody remembers that program was in place at the center. Because I remember, like, everybody wanted a job at the camp and be a counselor. And then when the jobs were filled, what did you do? And Hopeton White created that Crossroad program, and we had different jobs inside the center, outside the center. So again, where are these mentoring programs? And that's something that we have at the caucus. We have a youth mentoring program where we're trying to bring in Black women and Black youth Black females, young, and trying to teach them. Everybody credits me because I'm an older mom. I have a 9-year-old, and I bring my son everywhere with me. So when we were at the dam, when we had our tent out there, and they were like, "Oh wow, your son's here and learning and seeing, all of the culture that he has." And but the thing is, with the caucus, we want to pursue and we want to support all our socio-economical and all our political advancement of Black women worldwide. So we have education within the caucus, and we're teaching everybody, because everybody doesn't know that when you're supposed to get everybody to register, you're supposed to get them to register without coaching them as far as you're supposed to educate people on how to make their own decisions about the process. Nobody even knows where do you start? Where do you even go to get I had to hunt high and low when I became a district leader, because no one can share with me where to start. We do that in our caucus. We show you how to run a campaign, how to basically fundraise, because again, isn't that how Corey got off of the ticket? Because the fundraising, Black people cannot fundraise, and that's where the problem is. And again, it's all of this education that we try to bring, and this was the shoulders that I stand on when I was brought into the caucus to show us the process. And so that's what I've been learning and still learning, because you have to keep on learning. Right now, glory to God, I'm working on my dissertation, and ironically, I'm working on educational reparations. Now, thank you. I just came.
Now explain what that is for people that don't know. What is that? Educational reparations.
Yes, educational reparations. I am fresh off of literally just getting back from the Congressional Black Caucus in DC, and
I saw the pictures. Yeah.
Yes, and it was just reparations is for to correct the wrongdoing, and it's many parts to reparations, and a lot of people don't realize that. They just think it's a check. So when I'm studying reparations is, why are there Black resistors? Because when I am following Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, and I'm following Dr. Daniels, on the reparations, and trying to see how can we get this passed. Not only it got passed in the House, it finally got movement in the committee, but where are we with the Senate side? Let's get the Senate side. But reparations is it's to cure harms that were done. But educational reparations, my mom always taught me, you can never take education from you. No one can ever take education from you. So when we're talking about reparations, they want to talk about a check, they want to talk about apology, and then they also want to talk about putting, because then you're going to start to get into critical race theory, and you're going to get into talk about how slavery affected us, and how we are economically marginalized because of slavery, and where are our just rewards. And reparations is supposed to be some type of reparation for the harm that was to us, our ancestors, and there's so many studies that have been done on it. And we talked about it when we were at the Congressional Caucus, and they did an actual workshop on reparations. And there's so many studies, because a lot of people don't realize that HR 40 is only a study. It's not even the talk about the cost. It's not to talk about who. It's not even the plan. It is just the study to make the plan.
Right. A couple of things that, I've had these conversations. My brother Jeff that was on earlier, the spot that, he's talked about reparations a lot. I personally don't think, giving every Black American descendant of slavery a check would be a good thing. But there are things that you can do, like I think that can change our future to help and uplift us. One would be, you know, this American descendants of slavery should be able to allow. They should be allowed to attend 2-year colleges for free. That like that to just off the bat. They want to go further, then they got to do what they got to do. But just just to give them a foot in the door. You know what I mean? Like they should be able to, and just like they had the thing for, I don't know what it was called. When they were giving funding for people for houses and stuff that didn't go to us.
Yes,
The
housing.
funding for first-time homeowners, for American descendants of slavery, stuff like that. Now, those things I think would be great as far as reparations, because that have a long-lasting effect that can increase your quality of life and your future generations. You understand what I'm saying? Those, like things to that nature is where I think. It's funny because Dave Chappelle did a skit. I don't know if you remember when he had the Chappelle show, and he did it, and they gave reparations, and Cadillac stock went up 1,000%, and KFC stock went up, and it was just like all this stuff. Like, I mean, it was a joke, but
I have an SRX, so I'm like, really?
right. But it was like everybody went out and brought a Cadillac, and everybody went, all the stuff, that they say we buy, and it was just showing, making fun of if everybody got their reparations, and I thought that was if you can find it, Google that. It should be on YouTube.
I vaguely remember
Dave Chappelle show reparations, definitely.
Yes,
it's definitely.
But that's the issue. That is definitely the issue. Who gets it? And I will be the first one to talk about my situation, because it's like this is the first time that I have ever had to pay for my education in my life. Now I'm 54 years old, and how do I have $100,000 debt from my my doctorate? That's crazy.
Right.
I graduated from Morgan State, full scholarship. I graduated from LIU with my master's in public administration. Nothing. Now I'm in financial debt, and again, what do you do? And that's why the concern or the specializing on education, because it's like, now what do I do? Because when you look at the average age of a white person who is going through their doctorate, the average age is 33. The average age of a doctorate, Black doctorate student, is mid 50s. That's insane. Wow. Right? Exactly. And when you're looking at just the demographic of when most of these PhDs and most of my professors, they all talk about, oh yeah, I didn't pay anything for my PhD. Oh yeah, it took me 8 years. And it's just like, well, did you have to provide for your family? Did you have to work? How long did it take you just to do your undergrad? How long did it take you to get your associates? So it's all of these in effect. You're talking about reparations. Again, it goes much further. But just to go back to just my particular, because what are the questions is, who gets it? So here I am. I'm African American. My father is from South Carolina. My mother is from England. So when I did African ancestry, Lisa, you're European. No. My grandfather from Nigeria. So I have to now do my father's ancestry because I don't know what happened with his background. But if you go my mother's line, I'm not entitled. There was no, my grandfather was a seaman, free to go wherever he experienced racism, but am I a descendant of slavery? Maybe on my father's side. I don't know. So just looking at my particular, am I eligible or am I not eligible?
That's a good question.
Exactly. So that's
because I know that's been a big debate with the group American descendants of slavery, and saying that only American descendants of slavery should receive some form of reparations because they were directly impacted, and the forced labor and free labor that they gave that build white wealth, white generational wealth.
Absolutely.
And so I know that conversation has been going on a lot in the last 5 years. I mean, that as long as I've been following it, maybe before that, but it's been really heavy. And I don't think anybody's come up with a good idea or a good answer to the question yet. So,
and that's why I'm studying. And that's exactly but I'm so glad to even get your take on it, because when you're looking at it, like I said, why are blacks resisting? Oh, everybody doesn't deserve it. Okay, that's one. Another factor that I'm researching: trust. Who trusted? What did you just say? What, are you sure you're going to get the money? Is it going to be taxed? What is it going to do? Are you going to take it back? Is there going to be, what kind of control are you going to have over this money after you're saying that you gave it to us? Look about the reparations that they gave to the indigenous. So they gave it to one particular group, and then the highest in that group is controlling over the money. But it's not going to the individual tribes. It's just going to the chief of the tribe, and then they discern where it goes. So that's just one avenue. And then when you said there's housing reparations, so again, is it a voucher? Is it only going to be for the Tulsa, survivors? And
well, what was that thing called? Was it the Green New Deal? What was it with all the white people? There's all these people that were immigrants and European immigrants and all that, and they got all this money for home ownership and all that stuff. I forgot what it was called back in.
I don't know. I'm what I actually thought you were talking about. I thought
Jeff or Bob. If you know, I know one of y'all know, and if y'all are still listening, please type it in the comment section. Go ahead.
Because I'm so sorry. I thought you were actually talking about Levittown, and with Levittown,
Okay.
where in particular in Levittown they had it. That they only sold to white people, and it was in the contracts that, or was it Smithtown? Was that Smithtown or Levittown?
I used to live in Long Island, so I definitely know about that. What I was talking about, Bob said, I'm probably thinking of the Homestead Act. That's what it was.
I haven't researched that, so I'm definitely I do not know, but that's definitely something I have to look into. And again, this will probably go into my research. But in particular, when it comes to reparations, we're, again, like you said, focusing on the injustice, who's eligible, what.
Okay, here's what I Googled. Passed on May 20th, 1862, the Homestead Act accelerated the settlement of Western Territory by granting adult heads of families 160 acres of surveyed public land for minimum filing fees and 5 years of continuous residence on that land. So a lot of people we didn't get this. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these people then build wealth off of this. You know what I'm saying? And it's generational wealth and ownership and all of that. And I believe something similar should be included in some form of reparations to American descendants of slavery or something.
So, but a lot of people, that's what they were talking about, the 40 acres and a mule. Why don't they
that never happened? Yeah, the next president came through and nullified that real quick. Yeah.
Correct, absolutely. And again, that how when we were at the caucus yesterday, it was just amazing how it was Reverend Moss from Chicago. He talked about how when we were fully clothed in our right mind and we were together, they became afraid of us. So that's what we need to do as a people, is to come together in our right minds and be prepared to fight. And then we will be, they will become afraid of us, because again, that's all we were so empowered this weekend by number of speakers that just had the same discussion of empowering blacks, and that's why it all leads back to education, 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 education. So, and again, that's what we try to do, bringing it all the way back. This is what we try to do at the caucus. We try to educate, especially on the process, because a lot of people don't realize that just because a president makes an executive order doesn't mean that the next president will not will not like you said, nullify it, change it,
Well, that's that bad thing about executive orders. It only lasts as long as the person is in power. Latanya Baptiste Young said reparations without the elimination of systematic racism will put a Band-Aid on the reality of black people in America.
Agreed.
Which is true. I mean, which is true, which is absolutely true. And
it is very true.
We don't know how powerful we are as a people, but everybody else does. And that's their greatest fear, because a lot of evil has been done to us. And they're scared that if we ever got together, as you said, and got into power, that we would do these things to them, which is not totally in our nature, but that's the fear. So it's like they have to keep that knee on our necks or that foot on our back or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to not allow to do anything by any means necessary to not so we don't rise up and the division we fall for with everything. Like, it's always been this one form, from the house nigga to the field nigga to this, that, the light skin and the dark skin. And even the media created something in hip hop, the East Coast versus West Coast war, which I was in hip hop at the time. That wasn't a thing until Vibe magazine cover made that a thing. That was never a thing. There was no whole coast hating another whole coast. It was a couple of rappers on this side and a couple of rappers on that side. And it's just like, we fall into this trap and then, and we buy into it. And then, I don't know. We speak on this all the time with Black Westchester. One of the reasons we did this is try to educate people, and to have these kind of conversations, because these conversations need to be had. They need to be heard. We need to be discussing this on a larger level. But I think all politics is local. So, we're doing what we're doing on a local level. You know what I'm saying? Just for that very reason. Because our people locally need to understand this. And, sometimes I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall and I get frustrated and I want to quit. I've actually, in 8 years, I talked about it in my book. I have a book out on how we started Black Westchester. I've actually quit 30, 40 times in these 8 years. I can't do it no more. It's done. Yes. I'm not doing it. It's over. It's over. But I'm reminded of some of the things we did and some of the people we helped. And, so.
Right. And if all you do is help one, it is worth it. And not falling in jumps distractions. When you were just talking about reparations, and Tasha Young did a workshop, and Juneteenth, where do we go from there? And she asked me to do a piece. So I am now presenting reparations to Westchester County based on Tasha's workshop. So I have a PowerPoint where I am now I want to do presentations to do this. We're also creating a website where, again, we want to educate people on this topic. So it's not up and running yet because it's all part of my dissertation. But again, we want to change policy, because if you don't change the policy, and like Sister Girl said about the systemic racism, it's all moot. I totally agree with you. Totally.
And one of the things I always said is, we talk about Martin Luther King and the marching and the protesting, and we want to march and shut down the Brooklyn Bridge for the day, but the next day everybody goes back to work. Like Martin Luther King. Well, one, they didn't have social media then, but two, everything he did was in an effort to change legislation.
That's right.
And sometimes we're protesting just for the sake of protesting with no with Minister Hafiz Muhammad, rest in peace, who's the minister the head of Mosque number 7. He's passed. He died of COVID, but he came on our show and he was like, the nation had did something or else, meaning like, we keep making demands, but we never tell them the or else. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's
Correct.
no, if you don't do these things, and one of the last speeches,
There's no consequence.
right. One of the last speeches Martin Luther King had before he got killed, the day before, was because of a strike or something that was going on. Something was going on in Memphis or something, and he then told them that we need to redistribute the pain. And they was naming like the big bread companies in the area and the other big companies, and he said everybody needs not to buy this stuff no more until we get them to change. We need not to buy this no more. We need to redistribute the pain, and it's a shame because I can't get 50 people to boycott a local establishment that means us no good, and locally. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely. Absolutely. And you've heard, about these blackout dates. And I remember it's like, they don't even like, oh no, I can't go to Target for one day. No.
Right.
Right.
We were trying to do something on fast food, and that wasn't happening. Everybody needed the McDonald's French fries. Like they couldn't do without the French fries or something. Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? And it's a damn shame. We laugh at it, but it's not funny. You know what I'm saying? It's not funny at all.
Exactly.
But I wanted to say, I wonder, and I give this opportunity to everybody, when Damon and people say, oh, that's Damon and AJ's paper. Now, I wanted the people in the community to feel like that's our paper. So I say that to say, I don't know if you're a writer, if you have something that you want to pen on the topic to educate our audience,
I would be
for the
honored.
website of the paper, you are always an open door. Please, we need more people to speak up, and we need more people to write on the issues that these kind of conversations. I mean, that's why we started this. It never was supposed to be everything all in my voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. Sometimes it's like always like I write, I'm the main writer, I'm the editor, but it was never supposed to be all in my voice. You know what I'm saying? It was supposed to be in our voice. We created the platform to give our people, like they said, we're the voice of the voiceless. Yes. We didn't start this to be the voice of the voiceless. We started it to give the voiceless a voice. Well, you know what I'm saying? And there's a difference. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely. But when you first started the show, I love the engagement, the community engagement. I love the idea. I love it. I love it. I'm here for it. So, and I'm glad she said we're uncomfortable about. Yes. Absolutely. That is what sister was saying. And yes, at times we are not interested. But I love the community engagement. I love that concept. I love that model. I'm here for it. And again,
you can stay too, because I don't have no co-host right now. Unless you have to go somewhere, you can stay. But I'm experimenting. We made up the rules as we went along with all of this. You know what I'm saying? So
I love it.
I got a fellowship, a journalism fellowship for 2 years in a row, from the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism.
Amazing.
And in it, there's a lot of online Zoom type thing. And one of the things was this community engagement. Especially in our minority media, our community media, our free media. We need more, and I'm trying to do that. I've placed all over social media. I'm trying to get people to what topics you want to see us talk about. Now I don't know if people are going to come on later, and if they're not, Jeff came on earlier. If it's successful, we will do this at least once a month. I will, if it's not, I'll try it one more time and maybe give more of a notice. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully, some people actually tune in and say, hey, and I share the link everywhere. Again, the link is on my page, my Facebook page, and all the messenger groups. Just click on the link, and we're inviting everybody to come on and discuss whatever they want to discuss. Like Jeff was talking about, a town hall meeting we just had, and his thoughts on Congressman Bowman and Hakeem Jeffries. I want everybody to get now. that doesn't mean I agree with everything that everybody says, but I want to give
Right.
everybody a chance to speak, and I want everybody to get a chance to be heard, and hopefully this will be the beginning of something. You know what I'm saying? And who
Absolutely.
knows? Again, this is all depends on all of you out there. Um, you know,
But speaking as someone who was on, Congressman Hakim's original campaign, from the very beginning when he started off running for Congress, and of course now, because Representative Congressman Bowman, of course, is one of the co-sponsors of Reparations. Um, you know, has the gentleman who came on earlier, and I understand everybody, has what they see as perception. you know have you called up their office? Did you ask for a meeting? That's half the time. You're only going by what you see, and maybe by what you hear. Did you have a conversation with them? I'm just Thank you. Did you have a conversation with them? And my thing is, everybody thinks that, they're so unapproachable. And that's the one thing that we try to teach in the caucus, is that all these elected officials, that's why we want to celebrate them, because they're not unapproachable. So that again, that's just one of the things that we do with the caucus. We just want to make sure that, like you said, everybody has a voice, because when it comes, we have to change legislation. We have to go vote. And here, and don't even let me get started as far as the civil liberties. A lot of people don't realize that they can get their civil liberties reinstated, but they don't know, because they don't know how, they don't know the process, and they don't realize that that is an option for them. So they're like, oh, any particular reason why it can be reinstated. So, a lot of people don't realize that type of information.
in 2015, I realized that in Mount Vernon, city of Mount Vernon, the elected officials were dependent on they benefited from the community being uninformed and misinformed. And there was only a certain many people that were registered to vote, and they always voted, and they were only gearing everything they were doing and saying to that group. And I started reaching out to everybody who wasn't registered. And one of the biggest things I found out, a lot of people did not know that they could vote because they had a felony. And at that time, as long as you wasn't on probation or parole, you could vote. Now, even on probation or parole, you can vote if you had a felony. And if you had a misdemeanor, you could always vote. And you can vote in the county jail. You can be in the county jail and vote. You know what I mean? So a lot of these people didn't know. They thought they just couldn't vote no more because of places like Florida, once you got a felony, you need a governor pardon, or you can't vote for the rest of your life.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Luckily, we don't live in one of those kind of states.
Correct.
But a lot of people didn't know. So by educating a lot of people, I ended up registering 205 people in that election, which then expanded the voting pool. You know what I'm saying? And it was like some of the old timers that were dependent on just that group of people that normally vote. They had to contend to all these new voters that, weren't trying to hear them, and some of them weren't there no more. So,
and a lot of them also
I think that's very important education.
A lot of them also passed away because
yes.
Right, and that was also part of the voter fraud that they kept talking about. That vote the alleged voters were dead, and a lot of people don't realize that there is a program that they use called VAN, and VAN only targets voters. It does not target those who are unregistered or and I'm going to say something that a lot of people may not like, but as a homeowner, that's it. As a homeowner, what the problem is, and as a district leader in my own district, the homeowners don't live here. This is an issue. So if there's no voters that live in the district and they are renting out their homes because they're snowbirds, What do we do? And that's a problem in my district. My own homeowners that, all the kids that I went to school with, their parents are down south. What are we doing? What are we doing here? So then do you have to then get those who are living in the home and registered, and say if there's other issues, then you're going into another atmosphere when you still talk about you still not getting them to the polls. It's more, listen, if you want me to drive around in my Cadillac and pick up everybody to take them to the polls, I got you, no problem. Even the gas at $7 a gallon. But the thing is, how do you get them? Again, the van program only targeted those who are voters. They're here. But like you said, when I'm knocking on doors, because a lot of people don't realize that, how do you become a district leader? You must knock on doors and you must get signatures, and you have to get a certain amount of signatures in order to become a district leader. And what is a district leader? We help those of elected get elected, because we're supposed to be the voice in the community to tell you this is on the ballot. This is what's not being taken care of. These are the issues that we need to focus on. So, like I said, a lot of education that we try to do. And with Tasha Young as our political action director for the countywide, this is everything that, we're trying to do. We have our redistricting chair, who is Lisa Burton, who is now speaking across the country on redistricting, which is why
she's been on the show. She's been on the show a few times. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm trying to follow in her in her footsteps and do the same thing. And I want everybody to know about reparations. I want everybody to be educated about what it is, what's the lack of, what's the pushback, what is the problem, why would it take 37 years to pass? Come on, I'm sorry. Let me break it down.
I want to interrupt. No, keep going. I want to interrupt you. No, one second. So Latanya has been very active in the comment section. Latanya, we need you to come on screen and give me some community engagement.
Yes.
How about that, Latanya? How about that? And shout out to Brother John Morrison is tuned in. We have somebody from Mount Vernon. As soon as they connect their camera, and we're going to bring them in. But yes, these are the conversations that we need to have. And Tasha, we all started this thing, and I purposely didn't become one of the head members, like the president, because I wanted to be separate as Black Westchester. But Damon, Dr. Bob, Tasha, we started this thing called the Westchester Black Political Caucus, conference, whatever it was. And the whole thing, and we started this back in 2014, 2015. And, the Westchester Dems thought we were a threat. Like we were going to be the Tea Party to the Republicans, and we were going to try to take over the party. It wasn't about that. We were trying to sign up like all our especially our youngest elected officials, and put a coalition together, Rainey and Peekskill at the time, Chris Johnson and Yonkers, and Jared Rice before he became judge in New Rochelle, and what I'm saying, and bring us all together, and also, put together this a pack where we could find qualified candidates and actually put some money behind them, because that is one of the biggest things. We complain that these elected officials don't do what we want them to do, but they have people. When they have to raise money, it's not us that's putting up the money like that, that's being able to fund them. So they're being funded by other interests. They're being funded by other people that don't have us in mind. And sometimes when the phone rings, their calls get answered a little quicker. You know what I'm saying? Because they put all that money to help them.
One of the reasons is because we form 501c3s for instead of 501c6 or 501c 5. Is it 5 or 4?
I think 4, because I think that's what we had a big discussion on that whole thing.
Right.
Which one you could actually endorse and stuff like that. Yeah, we had that whole discussion.
Exactly.
I was involved in the whole thing, but I purposely wanted to be editor of the head of Black Westchester as an outside entity. I gave Latanya said 4 too. I gave all my expertise, but Tasha, Damon, Dr. Bob, and I think Kenneth Chamberlain were the four.
Yes.
You know them, president, vice president. You know, the 4 officials,
Right.
and you know, we couldn't get people to join. You know, the first person who joined, the elected official who joined, who said, "Oh, what's the membership I want to join?" was a white the county legislator. At the time, he was Republican. He is now Democrat. David Tubio. I can never pronounce his name. Tubiolo. But yes. He was He was the first one. Yes, he was the first one. A white guy who at the time was a Republican was like, "Oh, this is something very important. I want to support this. What's the membership or whatever? Let me give a donation." He was the first one.
Right.
It was like pulling teeth to get, these black people and black politicians to get involved. And then the Democratic Party was telling them not to be involved with us and not to show up at our events because they thought we were going to be like the Tea Party, like we were going to try to take over the party. And that was never the interest. It was to form something to empower us.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? In addition to the party. And then Damon and I started the Mount Vernon Independence Party. And we did great things in the beginning, and then the county chair died, and then the whole thing fell apart. But we were trying to get more of it's a Democratic city. You know what I'm saying? I talked to the Republican chairman. I was like, "I'm gonna need you to run some candidates." He said, "I can't because we don't have enough registered people. The best thing I can do is find a Democrat that has some of our interests and support that person and endorse him." You know what I'm saying? That's so. Because I was like, "Yo, we need more of a choice here." So we started the Independence Party, and they thought of us as a threat on that too. And so.
But again, we're going back. Always, as always, follow the money. And and when you talk about our black candidates when they're having issues, raising money. And yes, she is a guru. Yes, absolutely. But the thing is fundraising, and that's why I went into the 501c3 versus the 501c6 or as or C4.
Right.
Again, the ability to participate in endorsements and giving to campaigns, and that's an issue because again, like the gentleman said. He said that Jeffries, has big pharma. I wrote it down. Big pharma and defense contracts as his contributors. Okay, and let's just say what black companies have backed him.
Right, and that's I want to interrupt you real quick. So Latanya, the link is actually on my Facebook page, but if I just sent you a messenger too with the link so you can log in. So I don't know if you seen the message on Messenger. If not, it's on my Facebook page. The link, and you just click on the link. It's a StreamYard link. You just click on it, and it'll take you right here. And anybody else that wants to come in, again, we're trying this new thing with this community engagement. We want to hear from the community. Everybody always says they have stuff to say. Everybody calls me after the show talking about stuff. This is your opportunity to say whatever is on your mind, to speak your piece. Let us know what's going on in your community, what issues you feel need to be addressed, and that kind of thing. So please click on, and if this is successful, we will do this at least once a month. And, maybe next time we'll do more than an hour. Maybe we'll do a whole show on it if I get enough, support enough people. But right now we're doing this last hour for community engagement. So it's an experiment. And whether we keep doing this or not depends on all of you. So I'm putting it out there. I'm sitting here texting people now, like sending them the link, like, "Yo, where you at?"
Yeah.
Continue. I'm sorry. I
No worries.
Yeah.
No. That is fine. Listen, and again, I just applaud you, Damon, and just having this platform. I had the, the honor of, you had us on last year, when we were promoting the 46. And unfortunately, I was in an unsteady, so I was in and out, in and out, in and out. But, again, that was just wonderful platform for us to have a voice, because when we were trying to put the Westchester Black Political Caucus on the map, we almost had to beg people to come and join us and to celebrate, because we were celebrating our pioneers in our own caucus. And we're talking, when we celebrated Ruth Hassel Thompson, we celebrated Honorable Ruth Hassel Thompson, Honorable Diane Atkins, and Gene Anderson, district leader from New Rochelle, Honorable Pearl Quarles, one of our resident Republicans in our caucus, because we're bipartisan, and a lot of people don't realize that we are definitely bipartisan. So we and we also celebrated the Robinson sisters from Yonkers. So, and of course our own Greenberg White Plains, Honorable Eddie Mae Barnes and Honorable Alfreda Williams. And from the greater Peekskill area, we honored to posthumously of original, I call them OGs of the caucus. But again, we had to almost beg people, and we only started off with a budget of 50 and ended up with 463. So we thank you for giving us that platform. So we attribute our success to, again, you giving us a voice last year. So thank you. We do not take it mildly. We and I'm so sorry that Subomi was late getting on, but I was here. So, but again, we're here to educate.
Right. Whoever is LK, I need you to put your camera on. And Dr. Bob, as soon as you put your camera on, I'll bring you to the screen. Got my co-host, Dr. Bob, in the place to be. You are on screen now. Did you want to be on screen, or you want me to hold off? Got my co-host, Dr. Bob, in the place to be. Okay, we'll bring him back. We lost somebody. It would say LK. I don't know who that was, but when I went to put them on, they didn't put their camera on, and so okay. Let me say this: when you click on the link, I'm gonna need you to turn on your camera so I can put you on and hear you speak about whatever you want to speak about. But you have to turn on your camera so we can see you.
Can I just funny? Can I double back?
Bob, whenever you're ready, just give me a thumbs up and I'll go ahead.
I just wanted to double back because again, when you talk about having a voice.
No, go ahead, Lisa.
Oh, sure. When I was I wanted to just double back. Hi, Dr. Bob. Good, thanks. I just wanted to double back because again, just having a voice in politics. That 8 members of the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus made the top 100 powerful people in Westchester in city and state. And I just wanted to give a full shout out to, of course, Senator Andrea Stewart Cousins, our president, Subomi Macauley, Mayor Vivian McKenzie, Mayor Sean Patterson Howard, Honorable Ruth Hassel Thompson, Honorable Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, Honorable Ty Johnson, and Dr. Belinda Miles. So they all made that 100 powerful people in Westchester County. So I just want to give them an applaud and a shout out to just make sure that they get their roses while, they're on this side. Because a lot of times, and especially, I'm sorry, black women do not support each other. Well, we're
absolutely
here as an organization to make sure.
Black people, period, don't support each other.
I didn't want to make that broad of a statement, but okay.
Oh, me and Damon also made the list for the 3rd year. This is our 3rd year in a row making that Westchester Power 100 list. So we just made the list for the 3rd year in a row. So
awesome.
Yeah. Dr. Bob, Holla at us.
AJ.
Say a couple of words to the people.
What's happening,
Yes.
AJ? Good to be on air with you again. Lisa, how are you this evening? Such a
Thank
pleasure to have you and Subomi on earlier to talk about your upcoming fundraiser for the women. I'm going to mix it
Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus. It took me a minute.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
It took me a minute.
So yes, and I would like to, underscore the good work that the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus does in the county, as you recounted the various kinds of services and training that you provide for members. I couldn't think, as someone who has been involved in campaigns in the past, how helpful that would be. I do know a couple of women associated with. Thank you, AJ. maybe now we'll keep stumbling. I do know several women who are associated with the Westchester Black Women's Political Caucus. I can tell you they are all promising candidates should they decide to run for office, and I'm happy to know that they have the support of your organization to help them to meet some of the challenges that you pointed out.
Thank you. Yeah.
I also want to say I was very intrigued by your discussion of your dissertation research on reparations, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that's looking forward to hearing more about your study.
Thank you. It was as AJ saw on my Facebook page, it's like a researcher cannot get any better than speaking to the creator of the bill. I couldn't, and for her to offer her office as an extension of anything that I needed for my research, I mean, it couldn't get any better. It was just amazing just to even be in that presence, and for everybody that was in that workshop, they were just so supportive, and it was just an amazing, and I just it's just so important to get this out into, and the purpose of it to focus on the resistors is so that we can turn them, so that they'll understand how important reparations are for African American descendants of enslaved.
Right. Well, I do have some thoughts, Lisa, on. No, AJ, you go ahead.
No, go ahead. My Wi-Fi is going in and out real quick. I'm trying to fix that. So please talk, Bob.
Well, I was going to say, Lisa, that I do have some thoughts about why you see that type of resistance to reparations from some of the very people who would be one of the main beneficiaries of a reparations bill should it pass. And, it comes as no surprise that there are a number of African Americans who are especially sensitive of the perception that Black people are in need of handouts from the federal government.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I was reading not too long ago, I was doing some research of my own about one of the first bills to propose a national race commission that was considered in Congress in about 1901. And one of the objections that were raised by Southerners, who then overwhelmingly were voted Democratic, and had overwhelming number of representatives were Democrats.
Right.
Basically, their argument was that Black people don't need to be wards of the state. And
yes,
this kind of antagonism towards the federal government has been one of the key features of conservative ideology, at least since the Civil War, if not before, when the federal government essentially defeated slaveocracy in the South. And the South's opposition, the opposition of political leaders of the South to any efforts on the part of the federal government to, take steps to improve the lives of members of society generally and Black people in particular have been adamantly opposed tooth and nail. And so it's no surprise. And in fact, even though it is important to galvanize as much support within the Black community for reparations as possible, I don't really think that's going to be the stumbling block ultimately to the enactment of this legislation. You can have Black people 100% foursquare behind this bill, and there's still going to be considerable amount of resistance on the part of conservative whites, especially those conservative whites who have now tried to make a boogeyman of critical race theory, Black Lives Matters, any number of kind of programs that have been associated with Black advance are always considered to be anathema by conservative whites. And so, if you think you're having a tough time trying to overcome resistance in the Black community, wait till you get outside, and then it's gonna be really tough then.
No.
But nevertheless,
Yes.
I think it sounds like it's a fascinating study, and I know I'm looking forward to it as a real student of history. I'm looking forward to it. I can even say on air, me and Latanya is going to start a reading group around it.
I love it.
A couple of others.
No, I love it, and it's so encouraging because, again, like you said, it's easy to find the reasons behind white resistance, but trying to figure out the Black resistance, like I said, it's a trust issue. It's simply a trust issue. I'm also studying the line along the line of Black resistors for the vaccine, trying to figure out that, so there's a couple of avenues that I'm going down, but all I know is that I'm in debt up to my behind. I got to get this done quick. So,
AJ, did you have an off-air conversation with Lisa and tell her she's not the only one?
And it's just like again, I've never had to pay for my education, so this is the first time I had to pay, for my education, and it's like, okay, so let's get this dissertation done. Okay, let's get it done, and then let's publish. Let's get it out there. Let's get it done, because I don't want another 37 years to pass before S40 gets passed. That's crazy. That's right. Absolutely crazy. So, I'm doing everything in my power to eliminate the obstacles and finding out what's the issue. And Representative Jackson Lee said it best. We have studies up the yin yang. 37 years doesn't make any sense. Not to pass this. Oh, yes, girl. Hallelujah.
I was going to say, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
AJ, I was hoping that
we have somebody named CS, whose initial CS. Hold on, somebody initial CS. I need you to turn your camera on before I can put you on the camera. Go ahead, Bob.
Oh, I mean, I'm more interested in hearing from CS.
Oh, there we go.
I thought perhaps Brother Jeff was going to come back on and more fully articulate his objections to Brother Congressman Bowman's conference, but I'll let him join us on air. Hopefully he'll come back on here. But I'm going to give the floor to
Welcome
CS.
to the show, CS. You got to unmute yourself.
Hey everyone, Charmaine. How are you this evening?
Hey, Bougie Brews.
Bougie Brews.
Hey, I want to, before she speaks, I want everybody to know this is a Black-owned coffee shop in Yonkers, 52 Main Street. I want everybody to go support this young lady. Is like, you can go in there, have a meeting, like an internet cafe. It's a great community environment. Everyone needs to support this sister. She is doing her thing in Yonkers. Bougie Brews, 52 Main Street. Go ahead,
Thank
Charmaine.
you so much for the love. Thank you.
Now, Wait, hold
Go
on.
ahead.
Bougie Brews, you now you want to talk about already supporting. We are scheduled our launch 1000 meeting at Bougie Brews on October 12th. Myself and Tasha and our group will be there supporting. So you want to talk about a small world? We're there, sister. We got you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Always love from you guys.
So what's on your minds, my sister? What's going on with you?
Oh, I'm sorry, me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm jumping in here. I just want to say thank you to you guys so much for allowing us the opportunity. We definitely feel the love and the support coming from both Black Westchester and our community rallying around us. So it's just a matter of us, holding people accountable for what they're offering us and the help that they're offering. So I appreciate the community speaking up on our behalf and also, supporting us on a day to day. We took a chance and we were welcomed in, and I'm appreciative. I'm incredibly humbled and grateful every day. I'm able to continue to be open and be business and serve the Yonkers community down by the waterfront.
No doubt. Now, I was going, after talking to Lauren yesterday, I was going through your Instagram page. I seen some specials. Do you still have those specials, like the breakfast special? And do you have any specials that you want to let everybody know what's going on down there?
We always have specials going on at Bougie Brews. So we opened up we expanded our hours about 3 weeks ago, where we're now open at 6 a.m. And so we are now running and have been working on our breakfast special from 6 to 9 a.m. for all those early bird people trying to get the commuters out, which is a coffee and a roll for breakfast heading out, and that's only $4 there at Bougie any day of the week, Monday through Friday.
Okay. And you have a bunch of different flavored teas and some very good flavored lemonade and iced tea. And when me and Dr. Bob went there to talk to you about our book signing, he went and got a mimosa. So you offer a lot of things. Speak about some of the things y'all offer.
We absolutely do. We offer, in addition to our specialty coffee and a slew of different artisanal teas, we offer lemonade. We just started smoothies about 2 weeks ago, and I can tell you that they are on fire. All of our smoothies are, I like to say, for the culture. They're named after our R&B songs, and so everything from our Super Duper Fly to our Getting Jiggy With It have been bestsellers for the last couple of weeks, and I think people really, really appreciate it. What I appreciate most about it is that it's an opportunity for us to provide a healthy alternative to people in our community, which are often sometimes deprived, by giving them things that are fast food related. We can give them fresh fruit and fresh vegetables offerings, as well as plant-based milks. So we're really happy to be able to provide that in our community. Also, I think what's really cool about what we're doing most recently is that we're opening up our vegan options to provide more options as well for just different dietaries. And so I think we're making some positive steps for Bougie.
Hey, Charmaine.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact: Jiggy made it into the dictionary.
Well, first of all, I always say there is not a single person that can say they didn't get jiggy with it. Stop it. You can hate it as much as you can despise the man as much as you like. We all got jiggy with it at one point or the other.
Yeah. And I have all this information in my head, and people are like, "Are you kidding me?" Yes. And speaking of Bougie, and I just want to ask this question. So when you started Bougie, did you know anything about Launch 1000? Does anybody know about the Westchester Launch 1000 program?
I learned about Launch 1000 through someone who was in a cohort last year.
Ah, okay. So did you join it too late? Did they tell you about it? Because Launch 1000 Westchester gives individuals $1,000 to start their business. They give them step-by-step process on their platform to help you start your business, which is how I started with the medical healthcare and trying to work around policy, because I want to start an all-female Black policy institute along with Tasha and myself with attorney Chris King. So we're in the Launch 1000 program, but when I'm going through all the disparities that are in, medical for marginalized communities, for housing, justice, when we're finding it, I said, well, wait a minute, how many people know about this program? How many people have graduated from this program? How many people have benefited from getting $1,000 step-by-step instruction and a free laptop? Who knows about this program? How small is it? So I added community programs to be like, where's the representation? Who's telling us about these programs? That's why I said the same thing with financing. What about grants? How many people know how to look for grants, or just even to, you can just Google it. But, again, this is all information that we all keep to ourselves instead of sharing it. So it was obviously going to be brought out after I finished the program, but I tried to get as many people as I could to be in the cohort with me. But, again, I, I'm one trying to make a difference. That's all I can say. So it was just a question to you.
I would agree. I think when I launched Bougie Bruce, I was very, very new to the Yonkers community. But what I will say is, I reached out to a few individuals. I don't think there was a slew of information out there. In full transparency, I think I found out these things after I opened up. I would say that most of the help that we received was not the kind of help that comes from giving knowledge or awareness. It was more of the kind of help like, here's a loan, and have my money
Pay
on
it back
time.
with interest,
Which is,
right?
yeah, exactly. Which is not which is a different kind of help. Don't get me wrong. I mean, definitely, you pay for stuff. Money is money. But at the same time, the information needs to be more widely dispersed, especially within our community. I think that I meet people every day that come in and say, how did you start this? Like, what resources do you know about? And I'm always willing to share my story and share how I went about it. But I don't feel that is that should be the way in which information is dispersed. It should be way more widely known and way more accessible. Not everybody is going to be in my position to be able to put out a large sum of money to be able to start a business, and they shouldn't have to. One of the things that I oftentimes tell my students is that you know our white counterparts are given access to a lot of different things, and so it's unfortunate that we don't have that access coming in, that privilege coming in, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't start. I'm a believer that if you have even two wheels on the front of your car, you should push. You know what I mean? Don't wait until you get all four. You know, you can start with just two. Just go ahead, keep moving, and then get to the place where you can make some sort of advancement. I do wish that there was more accessibility within our communities to these type of, not even necessarily the money as much, but the information, because information is key, and information is power, and that's something that we are not oftentimes given access to. So I would say me finding out about the Launch 1000, like I said, was through a member of the cohort. Not necessarily because anyone saw me doing what I was doing and said, you know what, Charmaine, let me tell you about this as a business owner or a Black business owner.
Right.
As a matter of fact, like I said, I think the information that people need access to, young entrepreneurs, because there are so many of them, need access to, is just not as widely spread within our community, and we need to change that dynamic.
Absolutely.
Ironically, I only heard about it last year from Kobe Jenkins. I didn't know. I mean, we started this in 2014. I didn't know nothing about that in 2014, and we didn't know about many different. And then people give us information so we can give other people. I didn't even know that to get the word out there. I didn't know that existed till last year. So, I wanted to ask Charmaine one last question. Like, people price. Everybody wants the cheapest thing they can get and everything. Your coffees are some on the high end, but you, do you make your own beans, or you select your own beans? That whole process. Talk about that process, because I know people who have gone and said it might have been pricey. Once they tasted it, it was like, oh man, this is a really good cup of coffee. So
we absolutely do understand that. One of the things that I am very much aware of is that we're not priced like the bodega. That is not something that we offer. But one of the goals and missions behind Bougie Brews is to be able to offer our community something better, and something beyond just the basic. I grew up in a pretty underprivileged community in Coney Island, and didn't have access to or knowledge about most things. It wasn't until I went off to college that I gained that access and understanding and learning and all of that. And so when we decided to open up Bougie Brews, it was because we thought that people could just experience better. We wanted to give people an opportunity to experience better. So I often say bougie means better. It just means better than what you're going to get in any run of the mill coffee offering. We do select our coffee from different resources from different places. Last week we were Indonesian, Ecuadorian, Peruvian. The one thing that I would say sets our coffee apart is that Dante and I actually roast our beans. We buy bulk and we roast them. That is an intensive process. My baby is even there with us at the roastery roasting beans. So this is very much like a homegrown, straight from the beans straight to your cup sort of situation. And that's something that I can't necessarily say that is happening in other establishments. I'm not even sure if they even care enough. I also do care enough. I care enough to make sure that what I am offering is a superior product. And I also, what I want from our community is to be able to experience something that's different, to experience something that is not oftentimes do they think that we're worthy of things that are like that. Like I remember even having the conversation about the cost behind an espresso machine, tens of thousands of dollars to buy this espresso machine, and people making it seem as if this was beyond us. This wasn't for us to have. We should just get something that's instant. And I'm like, but why? I don't understand why that is. And it seems something simple as coffee, but it just starts there. That's just one level of it. It's also the reason why we go the distance of having these community events, that we make ourselves known and partner with people, because we want people to know that it's not just coffee. Coffee is just like the basic. If you can't give me a good cup of coffee, then what else can I expect you not to share with me? And so I want our customers to know that when you're coming in and you're spending that extra money, you're not just spending it for the finer quality coffee. You're also paying it for the attentiveness of our baristas, to make sure they do it just the way that you want them to do it, to make sure that element and that vibe when you walk in that establishment is exactly what it should be, and that you're paying for that. It's not just the bean, it's a lot more that goes into it. And so I'm aware, but I do believe that we're more than worth it. And also the other part of it is that we offer loyalty programs for our repeat customers. So it's very often that our customers will come in and their coffee will be comped. So it's not as if this is all about profit. It's about building an experience and building an awareness and knowledge for our community that things can be better than what they are or what they have been in the past.
Charmaine, I'm sorry to interrupt.
I just wanted to say, okay, I just wanted to put that out there because I wanted to make a point. Our people have no problem going to Starbucks and paying whatever the hell they charge us. You understand what I'm saying? And we have to see the value in our own people. And I purposely wanted you to explain that and give you the opportunity to have that conversation, to share that, because, like I said, we'll go. No, nobody ever questions. Starbucks tell you your thing came to $22.50, and nobody's, oh my God, $22.50. You just pay it because that's Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? And we should go to Bougie Brews with that same mind state and support this sister. And I'm very big, and we need to support our Black businesses. But this is definitely one that I am behind and support, and I want everybody to go through and check her out. Don't take my word for it. Go through there and check her out for yourself. And yeah, have a meeting. You know, have a meeting. She got the internet. Have a meeting, whatever.
Listen, Charmaine, this is what I want you to do, because, again, like you said, information is so key. I want you to contact all the MRI locations in your area. You're going to call them up and you're going to tell them about your services, because MRI places, they have to go to doctor's offices. And what do they bring them? Breakfast and coffee. Please do not let them get that business to Starbucks and Dunkin'. Do that as a marketing thing for yourself. MRI places, pharmaceutical companies, anyone, they have to get their breakfast from somewhere. They have to feed the offices. That's what you do, Mama.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I wanted to chime in and note that in addition to providing the finest fare possible for its patrons, Bougie Brews also has the additional mission of trying to serve as a community hub, a meeting spot. And I think this is important for us to note, everyone, because in Western democracies in particular, the coffee house has been one of the sites of democratic small d politics, where people talk about important issues of the day. And nothing better attests to the way that Bougie Brews fills this role than all of the community-based organizations that have turned to the location to hold their meetings. We did a meeting there a couple of weeks ago. AJ and Damon did when they did their book talk with Bob Monroe. The Black Westchester Women's Political Caucus, hopefully I got it right, I don't know if I did, has been there as well. And I know we're just a few of the groups, and so be mindful that you're not only providing for your own nourishment, but you're also actually helping to support an institution that is vital to the community and to its rejuvenation.
We have to see it. You have to keep the dollar in the community. We must, absolutely must.
Tanya said, I bet you won't get arrested. I bet you won't get arrested at Bougie Brews waiting for a meeting. Let's support our sister.
Preach, preach, LaTanya. I want you on my team, sis. Give me a call.
This is a fact. Yeah, that's not fixing to happen.
Any last words, Charmaine? Charmaine, any last words you want to tell everybody about this?
I just totally appreciate the love and the support.
Any last words you want to tell everybody about the store? And then I'm going to bring on, I have 2 more people waiting to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
My Wi-Fi is acting up, so I might be delayed. So I'm not sure if y'all can hear me, and I'm not hearing everybody. So.
Okay, well.
Okay. Well, we're about to move on. Thank you, Charmaine. We're about to move on to our other guests. I know Jeff wanted to say something again, and we have Rob Wingate. So I got 2 people. We only got like 10 minutes, so I got 2 people. I'm gonna bring in Jeff. I'm gonna ask you to keep your comment brief, so I can bring one more person in. And thank you for holding on. Thank you, Charmaine.
Thank you.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Can you hear me?
Okay, Jeff's on that. Are you ready?
Yes. You hear me?
And I just ask you, can you just be brief? One more person.
Of course.
Yes.
If I can be succinct enough, I wanted to respond to Ms. Nero's response, because I think there's wisdom in the personal approach in organizing. I've employed it myself on local organizing, at least in Mount Vernon. But I think we're reminded that at the state and especially federal levels, the personal approach is really a waste of time, considering that most of these officials really only respond to people with either organizational support of many thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, or individuals with many hundreds of millions of dollars. So I wanted to be clear on that in terms of what I think it takes to make Mr. Bowman accountable. And to be honest, Congressman Bowman hasn't even been responsible for some of the local constituent issues that he says he's been supportive of, because he came to a June rally in Mount Vernon to support the opening of, or at least the protection of, Mount Vernon Hospital, which has been threatened for closing. So in June, we were speaking to several people, including officials at the federal level, about what it meant to get accountability for CARES Act money that was given to corporations, including Montefiore Health Group, which actually runs Mount Vernon Hospital. Now, it came to light that Mount Vernon Hospital got up to I'll say it this way. Montefiore Health Group used 2020 public CARES Act money to give up to $85.8 million to White Plains. They gave another $47 million to New Rochelle, but they found only $21.5 million to give to Mount Vernon, which they claim to want to rebuild after they threatened to close it 3 years ago. So that's an issue that they actually need to speak to, and Congressman Bowman needs to speak to that. So he hasn't done that, though. Instead, he's been talking about why it's okay to send money to Ukraine and give money to oil companies under the auspices of a green bill with the Anti-Inflation Act. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say to that. I think quite frankly, he should be brought on the show to explain these things and make himself accountable. It's not in my interest to spend every day running after him on a personal approach tip. I think all of us need to be more informed about where Congress is taking our resources. And this is a responsibility of his that he ran for. So thanks.
No, and thank you so much for your comment, because as the director for the Greenberg Westchester for the Greenberg White Plains branch, that is actually my job as the director to bring their voting record to task. So I will stand by that charge and definitely bring it to the caucus. And definitely if it's something that needs to be addressed, then that's what we as a caucus will do. Yes, he is going to be our keynote speaker. What better time than to speak with his legislative director in the meantime until he comes to speak on the 19th of October. And again, you're right. Everybody doesn't have open access, no question. But I'm just telling you what I've done as quote unquote the outsider. And again, I definitely understand where you're coming from and understand your comment. I just think there is constituency services in each office, and that might be another avenue to start off with. And again, it is a more personal approach, because I guess I've dealt with them not only through being a district leader, but again just on different forums, and not even going through their offices all the time. And it is not what it is who Absolutely, I agree.
And also, Jeff, we will be interviewing. We haven't set a date yet. We will be interviewing the congressman before the election. So please feel free to give me, when I let you know what it is, give me your questions, and I will ask him right then and there. And you can watch and put your questions in the comment section, and he will be asked. Rob Wingate, if you put your camera on, I'll get you in real quick as we come to the close of the show. I want to thank you for tuning in. Rob Wingate, I just need you to turn your camera on so I can put you on and let you say a few words if you want. Okay. Oh, there you go. Welcome to the show, sir. What is your comment, question, or concern that you would like us to talk about? You're muted.
Thank you for having me on. I'm sorry to join at this late hour, and my battery on my phone is running very, very low. So I'll make it quick. But thank you, AJ, for having me on here. And just a quick note that a number of us, I live in Tarrytown and sort of work on a First Amendment basis, I guess, with lots of other activists in the western side of the county in particular. And we've been noticing a lot of sort of attacks and vandalism and mischief with different sort of yard signs and flags that are oriented towards social justice. So there's a group of us who are getting ready to launch a campaign around this, actually, and to see if we can raise some funds, maybe to purchase a large number of social justice themed yard signs and make them available to people around the county who might want to put them in their yards or around their homes, with the idea that, people who attack yard signs and expressions, public expressions of support for marginalized communities, that's a way of trying to disempower people so we can re-empower people, right? And it doesn't have to be that difficult. So you're going to see this on social media. We're going to do some fundraising and see if we can find, some money to buy a few hundred signs. And then so people can have them, free if they can't contribute. And then to sort of respond as a larger community in Westchester and especially in the river towns. So the communities that have been most affected so far in the last month or two seem to have been Croton and Tarrytown and Dobbs Ferry. But there's also been attacks on Facebook pages of Black organizations in the last month or two. So, we could do this as a community, right? So we're going to get together a group and appreciate your support and look forward to having some announcements around that soon. So, we'll all be together in this, and folks are hiding in the shadows who do this stuff. So, we'll respond publicly and sort of show a united front here. So thanks for letting me on. I appreciate your support and your time, AJ.
Absolutely. And keep me abreast of what's going on so I can inform everybody. You're usually good at doing that. And yes, Black Westchester has also been victim to Facebook. Facebook has taken down the Black Westchester magazine, the official page for Black Westchester magazine, saying we violated some kind of standards. And I didn't realize it was taken down. I was looking for it one day, and I was like, man, I know we started a page. So I started another page. And within 2 months of me starting that page, it was told it was taken down because it was close to another page that was taken down for violating standards. But there was no way for me to fight it. And you put in the thing for dispute. Nobody has ever got back to us. So I'm going to put up another one in a minute. And I'm going to get all y'all involved when I do, so y'all will all see what's going on. But yes, we've been the victim of that as well.
And so, and so has one of the NAACP chapters in the county. And right. The same thing happened to a Tarrytown Sleepy Hollow human rights group that started a couple of years ago. So this isn't entirely isolated, and some or a lot of that is malicious. There are ways that people can force website pages offline by clicking, by trying to alert Facebook that they think there's something wrong with the page, right? So then that places all of us who support sort of social justice programming online, in a difficult position, because it's really hard to restart those pages when malicious actors find a way to get them taken off Facebook or what have you. And Facebook's important. We sort of undersell, social media is sort of goofy, but the reality is a lot of people really have used it more, I think, since the pandemic began. So it's sort of an important communications network. People who don't have money to have a website, well, they might just use a Facebook page. So if somebody if extremists can target a Facebook page, that's sort of a scary concept. But again, we can respond. So we will.
Absolutely. Any comment, Bob? Did you want to?
Unfortunately, Rob, as you probably know, that type of low-level political vandalism has a long history in Westchester County, and what came to mind for me, one of the most dramatic, was I think 1948 race riot up in Peekskill in response to Paul Robeson's appearance there. So, and so a hostility to the social justice movement more broadly. It is of a special concern. We've been having a discussion here in the United States about whether it can happen here, it being fascism. And one of the things that I began became curious about and thinking about the history of fascism is its local origins. And there's a lot of evidence to suggest that, it wasn't just political elites from on high who were actively carrying the banner of fascism during the 1930s and 40s, but it was also sort of everyday folk on the ground in their local cities and towns who were opposed to expressions of social justice of the kind that you just mentioned, Rob. And so, I think we need to take this stuff very, very seriously. In the near term, we only expect, as elections occur and tensions heighten even more, we can only expect that these things are, going to become worse. And so I hope that you'll keep us apprised. I'm sure Brother Woodson is eager to cover any additional reports.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any comment, Lisa, before Rob goes?
I just wanted to actually just comment on what LaTanya said as far as Rockland, and I'm not going to say that I don't have a lot of experience with Rockland. It's just that when you're talking about this just injustice, I mean, not to be funny, you can take it right back to the mural. I'm sorry, you can take it right back to the mural when you want to talk about just desecration of just like you said, social justice, information, and again, I made a very good point when we're talking about reparations. I talked about we've been silenced for so long. That's why it's just like you said. It mutes them, trying to do that. We've been silent for so long. We've not have any voices. We've been told to stay in our place, keep silent, stay in your lane, so it's just what did you say, Dr. Bob? Not surprising. It's not surprising at all. And again, not stereotyping the community that's in Rockland, but it's everywhere, and it goes right back to LaTanya's comment. Until we neutralize systemic racism, how can we get anywhere?
I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I want to thank everybody for participating who did participate in this experiment we have in here of community engagement. I just thought about it earlier today, so I think I'm gonna in about a month I'm gonna do it again, but I'm gonna promote it weeks in advance that we're gonna do this on this day, and I think it's important. Me, Damon, and Bob can tell y'all everything, and we can interview guests and stuff, but it's equally important to give a voice to our community and hear from our community, our collective community, what they have to, everybody wants to be heard, but more importantly, I ask everybody come here to hear. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem we have in a lot of these conversations. We go to be heard, but we don't go there to hear. You understand what I'm saying? And yeah, everybody's not gonna agree. Me and Bob and Damon don't agree on everything individually and collectively, but you know what I'm saying. But Black Westchester and People Before Politics is only as successful as its listeners and as the community. So we will be doing more community engagement. This has been an experiment. I think this was a great show. A lot of things came up that were beyond what I planned on talking about. The only thing we had planned was we talking about the gala, and we had a lot of information and a lot of conversation that was great. Thank you, Lisa, for spearheading a lot of that, especially the conversation on reparations, which is probably a show we're going to do soon too, like on all the different aspects from the different sides and thoughts on the whole reparation thing. Awesome. It's something I've been wanting to do, so I had to put together a panel, and I will definitely bring you on when I do that as well.
Thank you.
Rob Wingate, any last words before for the end of the show?
Well, it's good food for thought, and I appreciate what you say a lot about like coming on and
Rob
also taking time to listen.
Words?
Oh, yep. I don't know. Can you hear me if I'm mic's on or off?
We can hear you. He's on delay.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I appreciate all these thoughts here. And yes, obviously there are systemic issues that in terms of like community vandalism, that people think they can do these kinds of things without any repercussions. And I also think back, previous, like to the destruction of the Black Lives Matter signage on Knollwood Road in Greenburgh, as having been sort of like a significant, more recent, like major scale, like if people can do that kind of thing and sort of get away with it and think there's no repercussions, then, who's to stop somebody from going up on someone's yard? Like one of the families that had these yard signs damaged, it's a family with small children, right? So, so now you've got people coming up on your home property who you don't know what else they're going to do when they're there. So there's other issues involved in this, right? When people are encroaching on homes and private land, it may not be just like to damage a sign. So, what happens when you see that person? What happens if a child sees that person? What happens if they get closer when a child's coming outside? Right. So these are significant community safety issues also. And I think we need to consider that along the way. And, and make our like local law enforcement to be aware that we're going to be doing this, that we all need to pay attention to what this means if this kind of activity becomes more widespread. Some of it's unavoidable. I agree with Dr. Bob on that. But still, as a larger community, we could do some things to make a showing. So that's adding on too many words, but there you have it, I think.
Thank you very much, Rob. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, for being a supporter. Charmaine, any last words? Any last words?
I would just say thank you again for having me, and thank you again for the support. I appreciate it.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yes. And we're going to do whatever we can to support your business, and I encourage everybody to support Black business. Period. We need to recycle our dollars. We need to support our businesses. You talk about empowerment and all those other things. That's one way you can do that. Spend your dollars at Black businesses so that the Black and you building the Black business up so they can hire more people in the community, so they can do more to supportive things in the community. I mean, we're building each other up, so I think that's very important. And I love what you're doing, and anything we can do at Black Westchester to help, Charmaine, just let us know. Jeff, did you have any last comments? And then we're going to close it out. If you had anything in closing, if so, just put your camera back on. If not, we'll go back. Lisa, any last words?
No, just it has been such an honor. Thank you so much. This was just amazing. I love the platform. I love the as you call it, the social experiment. I love the community engagement. Love it, love it, love it. I love the work you've been doing. Thank you for 8 years of dedication, giving the voice to Westchester, Black Westchester in particular. And again, we just want to invite everyone to our gala. Again, tickets are almost sold out, but again, it's just a wonderful, worthwhile organization to support Black women in the community. 46th anniversary at Green Tree Country Club on Thursday, October 20th this year. Thank you so much again. It's an honor.
Where can they get tickets? Where can they get tickets?
On the website, now I'm sounding like Dr. Bob. Westchester, WPWPC.org. And if I don't say .org, my president will kill me, with President Subomi Macauley. Thank you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Dr. Bob, any last comments?
Just a pleasure to be on air with you again, AJ. I want to encourage you to continue this experimentation. I appreciated the input from audience members, Brother Jeff, Rob Wingate, and others. And next time out, maybe we'll hear more voices.
Absolutely. We're definitely going to do this again. I'm going to put, again, I thought about this early today, and I was just like blasting everybody on social media and texting everybody I knew. So people are texting me back. but they're not showing their face. And some people can't speak of some of the things they want to say. We understand that, but again, this is an experiment of community engagement, and it's very important. They say we're the voice of the people. We want to give the people their own voice, and that's why we created this. So, hopefully next time we'll have a whole bunch of people just coming in and out, speaking on different things, speaking on different subjects, and we'll you hear a lot from a lot of people in the community. I want to get more into that. Maybe do that once a month if this experiment is successful. That's what it is. Oh boy, today is the first Sunday. So guess what tomorrow is, Bob? First Monday. Catch us tomorrow on
WVOX, the Black Power Hour from 11 to 12.
Yes.
20?
1460, I think it's 1460 AM or WVOX.com, or you can catch it on like the TuneIn app or whatever. And as always, I usually get the audio and put it on the website later on in the day. So we'll be talking about a couple of things coming up. The whole Newport, menthol ban. We're having a discussion this Friday with Dr. Benjamin Chavis is coming to Mount Vernon, and several others. We're gonna have a live discussion on the menthol ban. I was on this other show talking about the things the female correction officers are dealing with, not having maternity leave, where they have to work double shifts going into their pregnancy so that they will have more crew time to take off because they do not get paid. They do not get maternity leave. And it's not just the correction officers, it's also a county thing because County Legislator Chris Johnson said his legislative aide had to use her own time after she got pregnant and she delivered the baby and she gave birth. So that's an issue with tackling. We'll be doing more on that. Of course, we're covering the mural and all of everything that comes with that. We'll keep you informed about all that's going on with that. The October 15th issue of the newspaper is the last, and for all elected officials, anybody who's representing an elected official, this is the last month to advertise before the election. The next issue will be November 15th, and it will come after the election. So this is the last issue to advertise in before the election. So everybody who wants to get their ads in needs to hit me this week. blackwestchester@gmail.com. If you don't know if you need the prices or whatever, this is the time to get it in for the October issue, the last issue before the election, which is very important. Your last chance to get some, to be seen before the election. So anybody who needs to hit me on social media, you got my number, or just email blackwestchester@gmail.com, and I will give you all the information. I would like to thank everybody else. I don't know if I forgot anything. I'm sure there's other things going on. Once again, thank you for LPS, Ken Bright, his organization, for honoring Black Westchester, Damon K. Jones, Dr. Bob, and myself. Last week, Thursday, I believe, he had a gala, his first annual fundraising gala, and he honored us. So thank you very much. Shout out to everybody who made the Westchester Power 100 list. We have made that for the third year in a row. I'm very excited about that. Also, there's a 3-page spread of me and Black Westchester in the current September-October issue of the 914 Inc. They did a 3-page spread on Black Westchester. And I will be at Pace University journalism class, the Pleasantville campus, I believe it is, October like the 18th or something like that. So it's some of the next. I'll let y'all know next week when it is. Shout out to Lisa Reyes, formerly of News 12. She's teaching up there, and she invited me to speak. We'll be speaking on the anniversary of the Dan Roy Henry case. And all the coverage we've done on that. So you could be doing anything else, but you decide to ride with us, and I greatly appreciate it. This has been Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics Radio Show, episode 353. Dr. Bob, did you put something on the screen that everybody need to see?
Oh, I took it off.
You want everybody to see that?
Hold on, I took it off.
Do you want everybody to see that?
No, they don't got to see it. It's okay.
Okay, what is that? Oh, okay, the flyer for the menthol ban. Yes. There you go. That is this Friday, October 7th. It will be moderated by Dr. Benjamin Chavis. We will have a lot of speakers speaking about the detrimental, and they're asking the question: Is the menthol cigarette ban the new stop and frisk? And there's a lot of police experts and policing and blacks in law enforcement speaking up about it. So. You can come through. We're broadcasting it live. It will be on Black Westchester, but it will be Friday, October 7th, 28 East 1st Street in Mount Vernon. We'll be doing it Friday night, I think around 7 o'clock or something like that. So, the flyer will be on all our social media. With that, I see I got a private message. Let me see if somebody wanted me to say something. Nope. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Lisa, I'm going to tell you now, you are going to be a victim of your own success. What that means is I'm going to be calling you to have you co-host with me every now and then, because so don't be expecting to say, hey, you want to co-host with me? So you did a great job. Great information on the show. So I will be calling on you, just so you know. I'm
so honored. I promise AJ again. So honored. As knows I love him. Dr. Bob, such a pleasure hosting with you. AJ, you already know this has been amazing. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Right. So, and that includes if you have a topic and a discussion that we need to have, and have some people that you think should be on it. That's how, everything can't come from my head. I need everybody else's, contribution of what we're going to talk about. So if you have something that you think we should really talk about on the show, and you think you get some guests that we need to have, we have you come co-host that show and put that show together. So definitely, Latanya said, go Pace, my alma mater. Yes. With that, thank you everybody for tuning in again. Like I said, you could be doing anything else, but you decide to ride with us. Until next week, peace. And don't forget to check us tomorrow, 11 to noon, WVOX, the Black Westchester Power Hour. We will probably be discussing the menthol ban on that show, probably. I'm almost sure that's what Damon is going to want to talk about on the show tomorrow. So that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow. Until next time, peace.